Hey there, it's Boots Owen here. This is a Bendix washing machine, 1200 spin auto washer, BIW125W. Everything's wrong with it. It may well work, but there's one critical little detail that's wrong. That latch plate there from the door interlock was just hanging on, and there's no door interlock behind it. So as it is, it won't go. It's also incredibly rusty. You can see a bit of it here, but I'll zoom in on different bits of it later on. It's pretty grimy, it's quite old, and we'll have a look under the top and see what we think of it. So nothing too bad. It's dirty, as you can see, but it's hard to say what'll be wrong with it or what's right with it. It's got a sealed tub, which I don't like because it's not particularly repairable. So that's just welded together, and you can actually see the kind of wobbly plastic from the weld. It just is what it is. That's how these machines are made. But the bearings in it, I think, are okay. The issue really with a machine like this, of keeping it to use it, is that it's incredibly rusty. So you can see there's rust here. There's rust underneath. Let me turn it over on its side. There's lots of rust underneath on the back, down the bottom, here, and that means that it's not a desirable machine, and that just is what it is. People don't want them. So there's absolutely no point, in my opinion, in doing anything with this. It's got to be up on 20 years old, if not longer. I'll have a look for a date code on top. There's the motor. It's a brushed universal motor. I'm going to try and hotwire that today to see if we can't use it to smash this with a brick, because I don't see that there's any much good in it at all. So it's kind of sad but true, and that's just where we are. I've even tried to take the back off it before, and I can't get in there because the screws are too rusty. I'd have to just hammer them off. So there's the nameplate on the back, BIW125W, and a serial number. Up here it's got a note made, 16th of the 9th. Is that 00 or is it 10? Could be either. It says David, so I don't know what that means. I think it says David. Let's have a look here for numbers. That might tell us when it was made. Sometimes these pieces of plastic, there's a little plastic code there. I think that says 07, 10 or 11. So that could be 2007, making it 14 years old. Belt looks in good condition. Sometimes there's a sticker on the tub telling you how old it is, but I don't see one here. There's nothing under the lid. Yeah, I'm guessing that's 2007 for that plastic, so that's probably when it was made. So let's get in underneath it and hotwire this motor. So then, looking at the motor from underneath with the machine on its side, there's a barcode sticker there which might actually have a date on it, might not. Week, yeah, 4607, so 2007 makes it 14 years old. It's not that old really, it's been left out in the rain for a long time. This is the connector block, so can we get this off? I think we can, but I think that's hooked in like that. Right, so there's the cables going to the motor. Get rid of them. Then, this is what we would like to be able to see a bit better, but it doesn't particularly matter. First of all, down here is the tacho on the end of the motor. 2 red wires going over to here. Then there's a red wire here going to here, and that's for a brush. And on the bottom, I can see that the other wire is blue. So we've got a red and a blue to the brushes here. We've got a brown, 2 whites and a black. So I'm just going to be bold, make it up as I go along, and put a jumper cable. Oh, this is going to be difficult because I can't see what I'm doing here. Can I get that off? Yeah, I can't see this at all. I'm going to put a jumper cable from the brush to the brown on the basis that the brown is a winding. Then I'm going to put the live and the neutral to the other brush and another winding. If you want a better description on what I'm doing here, go on my playlist for how to wire washing machine motors, and I describe it using diagrams and whatnot. So that's it all wired up. Now let's just plug it in and see if it comes on. So this thing here is a variac. It regulates the voltage. It's like a huge auto transformer. Well, relatively huge. It runs up to about 8 amps, which is more than adequate for a washing machine motor. I don't know if I've wired it correctly. I've just guessed basically I can tell which ones are the brushes, but I've guessed at which ones are the windings. So let's put some power in. Oh, it's turning. Okay. That's 160 volts. So I don't know if you saw that there, but when I turned it on, a load of white dust or smoke, I don't think it was smoke. It seemed to be white dust came out there, out of the door like a cloud. Let's plug this out, or unplug it, as some people say. And just in here, let's get a bit of a connection to hold this wire on so that it doesn't flap about in here. I'll put an earth clip on it this time, just, I don't know why, because I can. Let's put that cable down there, cable tie. It's a bit twisted, there we go. And this is just to stop this coming off whenever it starts bouncing around. Give it a bit of slack. And clamp that on there. One thing I did notice was it was rotating against the brushes. The brushes have a certain direction for the spin, and it was rotating against it, but it was lovely and quiet. So given that I'm not hoping for enduring performance, I think this is now adequately wired for destruction. Don't know if you could see that, but when I turned it on, a load of white, dusty, smoky stuff came out of it. So we'll see what happens now when I put a brick in it and crank the power up. Here goes. that. It's completely bent. It might be live. I should really switch it off. So we tripped the residual current device in the house. Could have been the earth. Let's have a look underneath. I think this cable has something to do with it. Look at that. It chopped through all of the cables, and there's probably something going on there with the fault. But the motor's actually, it's broken the motor mount clean off as well. That's quite kind of cool. I'm going to need to find another motor or another cable to wire on this one. So let's get that sorted out and go again. I'm going to cut off this hose, pull it through, so that I can put the cable through this hole on the back. There we go. And the idea there is that I won't just crush the cable like I did last time. Should have done that before, but I didn't. Pull that through like that. And get this wired up. Oh. Connector blocks come off. Well, that makes my life easier. Live, neutral, and I have to anchor this on somehow. I've used one cable tie already. There's the motor mount bracket, or one of the legs of the motor. It's lost both its suspension springs and the top has fallen off. Let's fire it up and go again. may have lost electricity again. I don't think there's an issue. It just keeps bouncing on the cable there, so let's see if it'll go a third time. I tried to show you when it was moving, but the top plastic has completely punched through. You can see the cheese grater of the drum in there, and the belt's still on the pulley, so that's a start. Tripped every switch in the house that time. I have a feeling it crushed the variac cable, but the motor cable and everything else looks okay. So let's plug it in. Yeah, this still works. So this still works, so I'm gonna rewire. In fact, I'm not. I'm just gonna go for full power. I'll get an extension cord on it and we'll go for full power. So just looking inside there at the damage in the interim. There's a hole burst through. I don't know what came out. Something must have flown out, a piece of brick or just some damage. But it's still spinning freely. So as long as it does, we should be able to keep it moving. So I've got it just straight onto the extension cord this time, and we'll fire it up again. Don't know what happened there. Let's get that brick out. Could still be live. Got it plugged out now. So it's not live. Cable looks okay, even though it has been jumped about on a bit. Still seems intact. Ah, we lost our live. That should be it. Should be ready to go again. This has proven to be quite a big smash. Let's plug it in, fire it up, and throw another brick in it. very weird was happening there. I don't quite know what. The motor was still spinning. It's unplugged now. The belt came off the back there, so it was, I don't know, was it seized? Doesn't seem seized. Oh, okay, the whole, no, that's the end of this one. The whole motor has fallen loose. I might get one last little bit out of it. I have a feeling it's not going to do much more. The issue is that back panel, so I'll try and smash that off and get in there and get the belt back on. So it was just a little issue getting the screws out. I think what happened there was that it loosened them up by bashing itself around so much. So let's pull this belt. Oh, that belt doesn't look great. Have a look at this. It's a wonder that this machine is still going, because this has proven to be one of the hottest smashes around. That belt has seen better days, but well, if we can get it back on, it might go again. Okay. I should have taken the things out of the inside, but I didn't. How those bearings are holding up, I do not know. But they are, because it's still turning. Oh, it only turns, it's only turning in one direction, so there must be some kind of a Sprague bearing effect going on there. There we go. Let's tidy it up and plug it back in again. This was a Bendix washing machine, BIW125W. It has been smashed by bricks, and it is in some state. First of all, it smashed through the power cable, like completely severed the live and the neutral and the earth. I don't know how that's even hanging on. I rewired it, and then after a series of unfortunate events, the motor mount just completely collapsed. So that motor is just completely hanging on there, and that meant that the belt couldn't stay aligned on the pulley, which is what it is. But I said it was rusty. I didn't think it would all just fall apart. There must have been some kind of a welded joint along there. That gave up straight away. Pulley looks okay, but because there's a hole in it in the drum, little bits of plastic get caught, and then the... Oh, look at this, I didn't know that had happened. So little bits of plastic get caught between the drum and the tub, and then it chokes it. The belt just got chewed up like that. Must have gotten snarled in something. Anyway, that belt's dead. It cost... Somebody's reversing a lorry. That's helpful. There we go. So very early on it smashed through here and then put a hole through the drum and the tub, which is kind of crazy. So the whole tub is cracked, but it's, you know, pretty strong. This isn't a Bendix, but it's a Tricity Bendix Electrolux Zanussi style tub, so it's pretty robust, I reckon. Useless if your bearings go, because you're never going to get it apart, but such is life. That door won't close. Look at the front, is all completely bulged out. Yeah, that ain't gonna close. A load of white dust kept coming out of it, and I'm not sure why. One brick. Yeah, you see little bits of something are getting stuck down there. Is that one hole? Yeah, it just has one hole in the tub, or one hole in the drum. The rubber door seal didn't come off, which is kind of a surprise. It has wet snots in there that I saw dribbling out at one point, and I wonder if there's money in it, so I wonder could we get in and have a look. Because when I did the filter, there was money in it, so then if I go in here, this rubber's tougher than you'd think. By the looks of things. Get in here, I wonder how can we do it? There we go. It doesn't help that my knife is as sharp as it is. The other thing I thought was it might be spider dust flapping around. I don't feel any money in there, so it's a bit of a shame, but you never know. Maybe I'll smash in there and see, have a look at the element. Definitely sounded like money there, but where did it go? Hey. Out. Was there anything in it? How can I even shake it out? I don't know. Anything? I don't see it. Just smashed up everything again. Okay, where are we going to leave it? I think I have to leave it there after that wild goose chase. What do you think about this smash? Tell me about it in the comments below. Bendix. It was a good one. Thanks for watching. See you later. Just as I was tidying up, and there may be more, 20 pence, start of a fortune. Now it's time for a cup of tea.